Questions? Need answers?
You've got 2
Concerned
minutes.
about a loved one? Need career or love advice?
Hi, I am Walter Mercado. Thanks for making the Psychic Friends Network the most popular psychic phone service in the entire world.
Psychic phone network.
All improved, all knowing. That's right. The lion is back.
The lion.
You
The
can
lion
connect
is
with the
back.
Psychic Friends Network.
The
Take
legend.
out your cell phone and
The
text the
legend.
word
Oh, I
YouTube
thought it's the lion.
2428. You will be connected instantly to your very own gifted personal psychic friend.
The personal
Still the
psychic
best psychics now at the best price.
Are we the best
Millions
psychics?
of people just like you
Millions
have turned
of
to the
people.
Psychic Friends Network for answers and advice.
Guy up a little bit.
Get help finding the love, money, or career you deserve. Text the word future to
The word
2428.
future.
Satisfaction guaranteed.
Welcome to New York City.
Alright, should we talk over this? Or did you get a remix?
I'll just fade this guy out.
Okay.
We don't. It's La Vida Loca.
I predict that they're going to kick us off for playing that.
It was just a snippet. It was just a snippet.
Welcome to Question Block.
Welcome to Question Block.
Wait, we should be able to do that at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Welcome to Question Block.
I knew you would say that.
I knew you would say
So
that.
this week we're talking about astrology. And yes, because of the motions of the celestial bodies is how I knew those things were going to happen. So you're the expert. I'm just introing the show, so I have something to say, and it seems like I'm contributing.
You're the skeptic.
I'm the skeptic. So, we should have structured this as a debate. That would have been
No.
lively.
No.
So you're going to tell us all about the history, and you're going to read our star charts or present them at some point. And I just know the recent, sort of factual history about how astrology became commercialized. So I'll talk about that later.
The money, the business.
The business. And then you have the dirt on Miss Cleo, which is itself a
Yes.
great scandal.
It is a great
Which you can
scandal.
talk about
It's
later.
true crime, too, which I didn't even...
That's wild.
I think they're running out of true crime. Oh, who are you, by the way? Like, for real, who are
To
you?
introduce ourselves. So as we said, this is the Question Block podcast. We're the co-owners of Secret Loft. I'm Alex. I go by @Wires of NYC on Instagram and Mixcloud if you want to hear some DJ mixes. And you are?
I'm Arielist everywhere. There's on Instagram, it's ariel.ist, arielist.org, no dot. That's my real name, so yeah.
All right. Well,
It's like my mom knew. She had a premonition.
yes, your name did predict. Yeah, that I think they've looked at. And
Abdonyms.
yeah, and if that influences the course of your life.
Yeah, it does, but also there's dysaptonyms. So yeah, if someone's think of Anne Good or whatever, she was bad.
Oh, yeah. How ironic. Yeah, people who just do it for the joke.
Exactly.
So how did astrology start? What's the deal?
In the Babylonian times. Well, really, generally, astrology and astronomy were the same thing for a very long time.
Yeah, because it's funny that, right, astrology, the pseudoscience version, got the proper name, right? Like biology, astrology is the study of the stars. So then when the two branched off and they were like, wait, astrology is a pseudoscience, whereas astronomy is actual measurable things. So astrology is from the Greek, right? And logos is the study of a thing. Astronomy is the word taxonomy or economy. It's the French word, onomy, is a system of rules and laws.
Oh, wow. Oh, so astrology is the lawless astronomy.
Yeah,
it's the Wild West.
Yeah, it's the Wild West of astronomy. But it's, yeah, I mean, you'll get into it, right? It does involve the careful mapping of the planets and movement of the sun and moon and everything.
Well, we did talk, if you want to learn about...
if
you want to learn
go
about...
back and watch our space episode.
Yeah, exactly, because we talk a lot about
Yeah.
astronomy.
So now we're going to tell you how space can affect you.
So, astrology and astronomy begin in Mesopotamia. around 2000 BCE, and there's a kind of branch of Western astrology which is called mundane astrology, which is like
nice.
I know it's like funny, but it's it just means the application of the planetary and like star movements applied to large groups.
To large groups of people?
Just to large groups, like large populations.
Oh, for a large readership.
It would be like it'd almost be like meteorology.
Okay.
You know, like being like, okay, if the sky is doing this, then like there might be.
Then the Chaldeans will migrate.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so
Euphrates,
some of them were sort of, like weather meteorology. I don't even know, how do you say that?
Yeah.
Meteorological.
That's like in Isaac
prediction.
Asimov's Foundation series, he establishes psychohistory, which sounds like the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's basically like Mesopotamians. They found these predictions on like stone tablets, as they do, as historians like to do.
Yeah.
And some of them were like, okay, so if there's like smoke in the sky, like a volcano is gonna erupt. And some of them were like, if it's cloudy and you look up, then you're gonna have good luck that day.
Well, that's meteorology. What about the stars?
Or if, so they'd also had like star stuff. I'm just giving you an example of how everything kind of bled over into everything. But these are the first, I don't know, star thing. If you look up and you can see like this constellation, then it's a good thing, you know? And then, let's see, in the 5th century BCE, there are records of natal astrology, which is like the birth charts, which basically takes the same sort of ideas as like mundane astrology and it applies it to a single person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just based on the specific positions of the planets and stars on the day you were born, you can predict everything about someone's life.
Yes, and there's Hellenistic astrology is what the kind of astrology that we know is today, that people are most familiar with, and it's sort of a combination of the like Mesopotamians who did come up with the Zodiac, which means circle of animals. So there's the Chinese Zodiac, and then there's like the Greek Mesopotamian Zodiac, you know, like Taurus and everything.
Taurus.
Leo,
Sagittarius. Unite. Capricorn.
Unite.
Yeah.
Power. We'll name them off. And then there's the Egyptians. They came up with the different houses, so sort of more like planetary, like when the sun is in the 6th house, you know, that kind of thing, right? So Hellenistic is like a combination of both of them, and that came out of when Alexander the Great, because all the Alexanders are great.
He was really into astrology. Right?
Well, when he conquered like Mesopotamia and Egypt adjacent places, and he was a big fan of astrology, the two styles combined.
Okay.
Right? And that formed around the 1st century BCE after Alexander the Great conquered.
Got it.
Then there's electional astrology.
Is it what I think it is?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I'm assuming you think it's when to predict elections.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it could be. It applies natal astrology to other entities and events. Okay. So it basically does a birth chart for like, it's like, okay, so for example, the city of Baghdad was actually, they decided that it was a good idea to like form it based on doing like a birth chart. They were like, we want to start the city on this day in this place. And they did like a birth chart for the city. And they were like, yeah, it's a good birth chart, so go ahead. And then there's horary astrology, which is also probably not what it sounds like. I mean, maybe it's like hourly, but it's basically, it's question based.
Okay.
So it's like,
it's Magic 8 Ball.
yeah, exactly,
Style.
exactly. Yep, Magic 8 Ball style.
Yeah, and then I was reading in my limited knowledge that you can, like, an astrologer would take if your question is, like, about your father's relatives, then it's like your father's the 4th house, and, like, but siblings are, like, the 3rd house, so we go the 3rd house from the 4th house, so we look at the 6th house, and, like, it's this whole... Yeah, very it gets like convoluted very quickly, and then in the very end they're like, give you some answer to your question.
Exactly. And so the couple of notable astrologers around this time or in the earlier part.
Who were the stars?
The stars.
of the world of
I mean,
astrology?
There's probably one that you've heard of that like you're like, yes, him.
Who?
Nostradamus.
Oh, I actually didn't know Nostradamus used astrology.
Oh my God. Nostradamus, like, yeah, he did. He actually was very good at, I mean, he was a doctor and he was very good at curing people of the plague.
Okay.
And especially people who had mild cases. He would...
Mild cases which might have resolved themselves anyway.
He would give them rose hips, which had a lot of vitamin C.
No way.
So that actually worked. But his wife and his children, he was not able to cure them, and they died. And then his town was like, get out, you slut. And so he got out and he like started traveling and making some predictions.
But then started advising Tsar Nicholas.
Exactly. And a lot of other astrologers were like, he's a fugazi, like, we don't like him. But he did, yeah, he predicted like a bunch of like cool things, and people liked it. So they're like, we'll let you stay.
What did he
cutie.
predict?
He predicted stuff about the queen, about the king's death, like that he would die, and he predicted it. Like he would write these like poems, like these sort of like Shakespearean poems, and like you know, so it was like the king will die of like two, you know, the younger lion will like eat the older lion, and like who will bite him twice. And it was like that king did die from like two sword wounds by like a younger person, you know?
So metaphor.
Yeah. And people are like, oh, he predicted, they're like, he predicted 9/11. But he actually didn't. It was actually the best case of like trolling ever, because there was some dude who was in 1997 who was like, yeah, Nostradamus was like totally BS. For example, he might say something like this, and he said this sort of like poem thing, and everybody's like, oh my God. Like after 9/11 happened, they're like, oh my God, the twins will fall, and like the greatest ruler will like, and then, you know, they're like, Nostradamus like predicted it, how creepy. And then it's like, actually he didn't even say that. Like some dude who is like proving how fake he was said it.
And then that guy proved his own prophecy.
Exactly, which it's like, maybe he's the real Nostradamus. Maybe it was Flostradamus, famous house musician. So yeah, he's a big one. Kepler, who is also an astronomer, but it was like, it's so funny because like the Catholic Church, they were just like, you better not say that we have a heliocentric world, because if you say that, then God isn't true. But also, you better not be talking about like witchcraft and stuff, because we'll burn you either way. But by doing that, they kind of made science into a pseudoscience, into like a witchier science. They kind of like, it was like damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of deal. So all these astronomers were like tiptoeing. They were like, okay, but what if? But Kepler, he said something that I think is like the coolest thing that I learned this week about this.
What?
Which is about the which is about the Star of Bethel.
What is the Star of Bethel?
Or the Jesus' star? The Jesus star?
Which star is that?
Star of Nazareth? The star that the wise men were like, the star!
Was that a real star, or that's just like a fictional...
So, here
star?
is what the... Oh, hey, hello, Robin. We are talking about astrology and astronomy. Mm-hmm. So, this is... People were like, what is that star? Like, is it a thing that really happened? Like, what the F is going on? Or happened, right? And so, Kepler famously got into astrology and astronomy because he saw the great conjuncture of Saturn and Jupiter, and he was like, yo, I predicted this stuff better.
And it just happened again.
It just happened again, and he predicted that too. He was like, I could have predicted this better when he was like a child, because he was that kid. He was 100% that kid. Mm-hmm. So he was like, the last time that this happened before me, Kepler, was Jesus' time in the year 7. I'm looking over to the side because I have notes that I wrote. Yeah, the year 7 BCE. And he said, I bet that this star that the wise men followed was actually the great conjuncture, right? It was Saturn and conjunction, right? Yeah. Saturn and Jupiter like becoming one.
Just getting next to each other.
Yeah.
Getting close.
And it would have looked like a crazy ass star to people. And he was like, I bet the wise men, and maybe he threw this in to like appease the church a little bit. He was like, I bet the wise men were actually astrologers and astronomers. And they did a birth chart. He's saying, okay. He's saying
did a birth chart
that
for Jesus.
They did a birth chart. Like they were like, okay, so
Jesus.
When the conjunction is in Pisces, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it would have happened like around the time of like the sign of Pisces. When it's in Pisces, Saturn would have represented the Jewish population, and Jupiter signifies kingship. So when those two overlap, they're like the next Messiah is like, what's up?
Why is Saturn the Jews?
I don't know. This is just what Kepler said.
I like Jupiter because the Roman god Jupiter is the king of the gods, and like,
because of knowledge, because of like wisdom.
Wisdom,
I think, because the Jews are like smart.
That's funny. That's Saturn.
They love everything. Saturn is the planet of deals, and comedy, and Seinfeld. Okay, so. Yeah, so he was like the wise men / astrologers were like, oh my God, this means that the next Messiah is going to be like, it is going to be born during this conjunction, right? And they have done a birth chart for someone born on the 22nd of August. In the year 7, which I guess that's like a little after people think Jesus is born, but I don't know. I just thought this was really interesting. Someone with that like birth chart, every planet would be in its own sign. So like when we look at our birth charts later, you'll see like they'll be like your Mercury is in blank, but it would be like the Mercury would be in like Gemini, which is the planet that it is, and like. You know what I mean? So it would be like a quote unquote like perfect birth chart.
Okay.
Wow, crazy, right? So
Wasn't
Kepler.
Jesus born in like 33 BC though?
I don't know. This is just what Kepler said.
Wasn't he killed on 0?
Okay, I don't know. I'm not a religious
I feel
person.
Like Kepler has a very nice theory, but this seems pretty much ahistorical. He's like, they probably weren't
I'm
good at keeping
seeing this.
dates
I
back
think
then.
he said this because he was trying to get the church to like warm up to planet people, studying people. But I just thought it was like such a cool thing, okay? It's just cool. And that's astrology. Look, if you're doing an astrology podcast, you have to take everything.
You're not allowed to ask questions like that.
You're not allowed to ask dately questions. Except, what year were you born?
Okay.
So Kepler was like a big one. John Dee is also a big one. Dr. John Dee with the big D.
What did he do?
He This was during the whole like Mary and Elizabeth are fighting times, and
What is the Mary and Elizabeth?
Mary, Queen of Scots, is like, I hate Elizabeth and I'm imprisoning her.
Okay.
Right, and he told Elizabeth that she would actually be. I guess Elizabeth was like, I'm so depressed and sad and like I just want to know my horoscope. And John Dee was like, yo, you're gonna be queen someday, like very soon. And Mary, Queen of Scots, like found out about this and she was like, I'm gonna murder you. And then she died, and Elizabeth became queen, and she like hired John Dee as her like
Pretty
her
lucky,
boy.
Lucky break.
Yeah.
One thing we all know in common with all astrologers, right? You only know about the ones that made correct predictions.
Yeah.
Right. The ones who made incorrect predictions, well, I guess with the exception of Kepler, don't get famous.
I mean, yeah, Kepler, he also was, he
came up with, a gravitational explanation for planetary motion.
Yeah, and I definitely think he was like trying to grease up the church a little bit to like not kill him.
Well,
He was like, let me tell you my math.
no, but even in Kepler's time is the early 1600s, and even then, astrology was still a respected discipline, along with alchemy, and other things that are now like discredited as pseudoscience.
But math,
it wasn't really distinguished from it was just the natural sciences. So it was like in there with biology and chemistry, and math. Yeah, they were like all there together, and they were like, yeah, of course, astronomy works.
Yeah, but like again, math. They were like, you better be careful. This better not be anti-Jesus math.
Yeah, well, as long as you were helping them to keep the calendar and predict when Easter was supposed to happen.
But in order to do that, though, you had to, like, prove that it was a godless world, kind of. Yeah. I mean, you had to prove that the world revolved around the sun, which, that would make them very mad. So I think he was like, nah. He was trying to distract them from that little detail.
So, yeah. Things maybe got easier once you're allowed to have a heliocentric universe.
Yeah.
Or not universe, heliocentric solar system. So,
yeah.
So probably the next guy we'll talk about is John Lilly.
Wait, when was
William
he?
Lilly. William Lilly is like late 1600s.
Okay, you talk about him because
Okay.
I don't know anything about him. I did not see this one in the cards.
Yeah. So William Lilly was British and was like born in poverty but got a good education and married into money. He was like a secretary for some nobleman, and the nobleman died, and he immediately married that guy's widow, and then like inherited the fortune.
When you said that he was like born into, I was like, he was born in the gutter, but he was looking up at the stars.
And he was. So William Lilly then, once the widow died, he inherited a bunch of money, and then he dedicated the rest of his life to studying astrology. And so he published some and he did like really thorough research. Because of his like good education, he could read Latin really well, and all of the medieval astronomy texts were written in Latin, but a lot of people in the UK at that time couldn't necessarily read Latin. So he then published books in English about astrology, and was doing star charts for stuff.
Could people read like at all at that time too?
Yeah, if you were in Parliament, if you were like a British merchant, or if you were bourgeois, you could read. It's very bougie to be able to read. But he, unlike a lot of previous astrologers at the time, he made specific predictions. So he did
the what do you call it? The date based one. What did we say? The horror astrology.
Horary. He did horary astrology. But so he in the 50s he published, and he was the first astrologer ever published in a newspaper. Although newspapers were pretty new around this time. But he was the first newspaper.
They call them
astrologer.
newspapers, but are they really new?
Yeah, but he published some drawing in the late 1650s of the city of London in flames, surrounded by coffins, and then the Great Fire of London happened in 1666. And it might have just been that he was like, look, all of our buildings are wood and we have lamps everywhere, like kerosene lamps. But so he was actually called in for questioning, and like I don't think there was a full trial, but they were like, did you know about this? Did you perhaps start this fire to like prove a point? What's the deal? And he managed to, he was like, no, just, I mean, come on. We have a fire every 10, like a major fire every 10 years. And then he had a handful of other predictions, I guess, which like supposedly like worked out, but they were probably like vague enough. But he was like seen by members of parliament as like, you know, a contemporary of Isaac Newton and other like very well respected intellectuals at the time.
Yeah.
So it's very funny. At that time, he was considered one of the like, you know, smartest like forefathers of science, and like now we're like, no, nothing he did like was that, you know, mattered at all. Like
You
can't
can't
predict
though. We're
anything
talking
from it.
about him now.
We are, but only because I found him on Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
But yeah, that was William Lilly. But he, I think, went a long way towards shaping the idea and popularizing for the Western world the idea that you could predict specific events through like the motion of the stars. And he famously also did say, because there was a big debate also because of the church at this time, right? Because they were like, well, to know the mind of God is like blasphemy, or to claim that you can understand the intentions of God is blasphemy. So the astrologers were often very careful to be like, no, I just interpret the planets, but what God is saying through the planets is like
that's
vague
right.
and beyond my comprehension. But we can just divine like some aspect of like his will.
So there was also Evangeline Adams,
Okay.
which actually relates to our podcast last week.
Is this the first female astrologer or famous
No,
female astrologer?
because this was like around the spiritualism time, which, so there's like astrology, as with like all cool things, it ebbs and flows like with it has like an inverse relationship with like Catholicism basically. So during times of like heavy Catholicism, it kind of like takes a chill pill. People don't talk about it as much. And then, you know, there's like all the witch trials and everything. So people are like, yo, shh. Like, don't talk about the stars so much. And then the rise of spiritualism with like the awesome Victorians, that really like helped it make a comeback.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I know we're jumping around and there's like so many good ones. It's so funny because there's someone named there's an actress named Evangeline Lilly, but it's actually, you're like obsessed with William Lilly. And this is Evangeline Adams, who's actually related to John Adams.
So Evangeline Adams was a Victorian
Yeah, I was
astrologer?
Yes, I was just looking up because I know you want to look up the date of her. Because I know her
I'm
story.
going to guess late 1800s. You tell the story.
You want to look it up?
Sure.
Here. Okay. So she was staying at a hotel, and she was bored, and I think someone asked her, like one of the workers of the hotel, like asked for a horoscope, and she was like,
Boom, late 1800s. Yes.
nice, okay.
Yeah.
And she was like,
American though.
yeah.
From Jersey. Died in New York. Okay, so she's at a hotel. She's at the Radisson.
Yep.
And what happens?
She's bored,
Okay.
and someone she's like, oh yeah, I'll tell your horoscope. And she's like, oh yeah, like you're legit gonna go up in flames like tomorrow. and it turns out that like the hotel room that person was like staying in did like catch fire, and she escaped from the hotel unscathed. And that prediction made her pretty famous. And then there's like an obscure rule in New York against like fortune telling. So
They have all the ground floor real estate. Somebody should enforce it.
Right?
Jeez.
So she came to New York. She came over from Jersey, and she got arrested for fortune telling. And they put her on trial, and they were like, yo, do like a reading of this person. And she, they give her like a random, like, they're like, it's a male born this, so she does it, and she's like, yeah, this person drowned or like they had like an untimely like death with like water. I'm seeing a lot of water. She's like, it's very wet. And the judge was like, oh my God, it's actually my son, and he did just drown. And so they released her, and then she got even more famous.
So he was like Neptune was in the house, like the 12th house is death, I think.
Neptune's,
like
Poseidon's.
that.
She's like, this is Poseidon's adventure, because she's from Jersey. She's like, oh my God, it's fucking Poseidon's adventure everywhere in this boy's life. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he was maybe a Pisces. It's a fish sign.
Yeah.
So we should, we can talk about a few more astrologers, or we can take a little break for science, and we can talk about what exactly the zodiac is, which constellations, and how did they get picked out.
Oh yeah, do you want to do that?
Yeah. So the zodiac, we don't have our little bottle with us, but we'll use our hands to show it. So if you imagine there's the sun in the middle of our solar system, and the Earth rotating around it. And then imagine way off in the distance, on the same plane, is the Earth and the sun, which is called the ecliptic, right? Mm-hmm. So the Earth is actually moving in a slight ellipses with the sun at one focus of the ellipses, but more or less the Earth is spinning, rotating around the sun. And then all of the stars are really fucking far away. But as the Earth is rotating around the sun, if you look past the sun, there are stars that will effectively be in line with the sun.
Wait a second. You said the stars were far away, but I'm right here, so...
Nice.
I'm in the room.
Yeah, that was worth interrupting the lecture.
Okay, continue.
So the zodiac is constellations, or configurations of stars, which to humans look like something, that the sun will pass through, or it looks as though the sun is in front of them as the Earth rotates around the sun. And there's actually 13 constellations in the zodiac. This happens every 5 to 10 years. Someone publishes the article and they're like, NASA's discovered a 13th sign. The zodiac's entirely wrong.
Gaga Trondra.
There is a, and this is just because there is a 13th Babylonian constellation that is in line with the sun in the band that is the zodiac, and it's called Orpheus, who is like the scorpion catcher. I think, or snake catcher is and they're also maybe the Babylonians just didn't like that one, or maybe 13 is an unlucky number, so they just picked 12, or for whatever reason, it made it easier to divide up the year.
Just think it's you're chiseling everything out of stone, and he's like, shit, I ran out of space.
Yeah.
Fuck. He's like, it's fine, because you can't erase stone.
Yeah. And then also it's, you're not going to expect the constellations to be completely evenly spaced around the galaxy, basically, right? As you're looking out from the solar system in line of sight with the sun. So, they're off a little bit. So, you can look up a table of, if there are people who are very strict, and it turns out Scorpio is actually only, 10 days. The Scorpio season.
Good.
Because it, you very quickly, another constellation's right next to it. And I forget what, it might have been, Cancer is, a month and a half or something, or 45 or 50 days long. So they're not totally even, but again, to make things nice and so there's an even population, and because it's all pseudoscience anyway, you might as well make it 12 evenly spaced ones.
Yeah.
That roughly line up with the months.
Also, isn't there isn't it because of precession? Do you want to talk about that?
So the other, two other neat kickers or whatever, right? So one is, again, we're on the northern hemisphere of the planet looking past the sun at a constellation. If you are below the equator, like in Australia, the constellations are all upside down and they're in a different part of the sky. Or South Africa or anywhere below the equator. But for them, the constellations are upside down because they're upside down.
So is it backwards for them? Oh my God.
I guess left, if you flip like that, left and right would be reversed.
So, if you're born in May in Australia, are you... Wait, no.
No, you're still... The sun is still in the same, line with the Earth,
okay.
Right? The signs are still the same based on a given month. The constellations just look upside down to you.
Oh, okay. So, it's funny because Gemini, that was going to look the same either way.
There you go. And then the other point is that the Earth itself because of the like where the sun is in the ecliptic, the Earth is actually tilted a little bit on its axis.
Okay.
Which is known as, and then the Earth actually, that axis slowly spins. So the Earth is rotating very quickly around its own axis. While moving, it's tilted to the sun, which is why we have seasons. And then that axis itself wobbles a little bit every 26,000 years. There's a lot of movement in the interstellar bodies, or not even interstellar, in planetary bodies. So the takeaway, though, is that the night sky is different now, and compared to like the compass, than it was 3,000 years ago.
I'm getting nervous because I feel like you're about to drop a bomb.
4,000 years ago. So
I'm like, deep breaths. Okay.
So our North Star is Polaris right now.
Okay.
Because magnetic north happens to line up with where Polaris is. But 4,000 years ago, it didn't. The Babylonians had a different North Star. And so the plane of the ecliptic actually was slightly different too, because the Earth was like at a slightly different tilt.
Okay.
So the Babylonians probably actually had like, the constellations were in like different locations back then too. Still pretty close relative to each other, but it means that everything has actually shifted like a month later than it was for the Babylonians.
Which means?
I don't know. I think we probably just made up the dates anyway, sort of.
Oh, so, I can tell you what it means.
But it means that your, horoscope is probably based on, if it's based on a Babylonian calendar, then it's not accurate to the position of the sun and stars today.
So that's, okay. So what you're talking about is basically Vedic astrology, which is, because Indian, it's Indian, yeah. I mean, it's Indian, yeah, it's Indian.
Did they recalculate everything?
Indians didn't have like a dark age or anything. And they've been like good at math forever. So they just like keep basically super oversimplifying. They do it correct, like with the correct math. So in Vedic astrology, like right now, I would be, like, I'm a Gemini, but I would be a Taurus, which I'm not, and you would be a Cancer. Yeah. Or, no, sorry, you would be...
If you want to be accurate about it.
Yeah, you would be a Cancer. But that's like, I'm like, no.
Yeah, do you want to acknowledge your real identity? So we haven't yet gotten into... Do you want to take a guest, or should we take a guest a little later?
I think we'll take a little later, because we'll do our charts and stuff, yeah?
Yeah, okay. And then we'll do the chart of a guest.
Well, I don't know if we can do
you
that.
Pull it up.
Oh yeah, I could.
Oh, so then, okay. So that's like that's why your astronomical sign is your sun sign, because it is like when you were born, the month you were born, where the constellation that was basically like opposite from the sun is the Earth was like spinning around. So yeah, that's what it is. Then there's lots of other signs you can have, because like, right, once you have that concept of like astronomical signs on the ecliptic, then wherever the other planets are, you're going to have a line of sight from that planet. So Jupiter will be like in front of some other background constellation, or the moon. The moon generally, because it moves so much quicker in the night sky than anything else, is considered to be like associated with day-to-day like
I'm
things.
Like shady. Wait, what was that?
Little nosy ass bitch. The moon.
What was that? Oh, shout outs to Anna Chelsea, my mother.
Yeah.
My mother and Alex Remnick.
Yeah. So then, okay. So we'll bring it now to the present day. So.
Oh wait.
Or not quite to the present day.
Wait, were we gonna name the constellations?
Yeah. So right before we do that, I'll explain why they're so prevalent in astrology today.
Okay.
Because everything we've been talking about are these very complex charts, right? With like the houses of whatever. But astrology, as most people read about it, is in like a magazine article that has 12 different... They're
Cosmo.
just like, if you're Pisces, here's what's happening this month, right? And that's relatively new. Everybody we've talked about historically, like, didn't practice astrology that way. And so it only came about because of... I gotta grab his name real quick.
Oh yeah, your other boy that you were like telling me about.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, when you were like all the houses and stuff, I was just picturing them like drag houses, like the seventh, like the house of seven.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the version that we are familiar with from the magazines is just called Sun Sign Astrology. So it's a very
cute.
It's because it is simplified. It's only concerned with your sun sign, not with your different planetary signs, which in like full on astrology with star charts and everything, or our boy Walter Mercado is like much more concerned with the motion of all the planets is very important.
Yeah.
But so the dumbed down sun sign astrology is traced back to this guy in the 30s. R.H. Naylor is his name. And R.H. Naylor was just a newspaper writer.
Naylor.
And Naylor.
I barely know her.
Yeah. R.H. Naylor was an American newspaper writer, and the British Princess Margaret. She's like the younger sister of the still around queen, who's immortal. Princess Margaret was born, and they were like, "Can you write an astronomical prediction for her?" And their usual guy was out. And so R.H. Naylor was like, yeah, but I don't really know astrology very well. I'll do what I can. And so he just sort of did a prediction based on her like sun sign, and did some like, I don't know, some other astrology, and like people loved it, and it like caught on, and they were like, can you write a weekly column? And he was like, that's not really how astrology works. I need to like meet a person. I can make predictions about their life based on when they were born and the motion of planets around that. And they were like, no, but could you just like once a week? And he was like, yeah, I'll write very vague predictions for every sun sign, and then everybody can read about it and follow along. Oh. And that's the astrology we all know today.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, like the Cosmo, where they're like, this month you're going to be hot.
Yeah.
And they're, oh my God. Okay, wait, but for real, have you ever read like a Cosmo?
Oh, yeah.
Astrology? They do like the sex they're like, this month you should try playing with his balls.
They always say we'll send him over the edge.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And they'll like grab an ice cube and shove it up his ass, and it will really push him over the edge. And you're like, the edge of what?
Yeah. He just kills himself.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
He kills himself. Just like I keep pushing my man over the edge, and he's just premature ejaculating.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of white in your future, all over your face.
So, Naylor popularized that, and like other newspapers like all copied it, and that's why like it like, you know, any magazine now you can read like an astrology column. And he did predict, or was claimed to have predicted, the crash of the British had their own version of the Hindenburg.
Oh.
It was like a giant airship, and it like also kind of sucked, like the Hindenburg, and it crashed en route to India. And he apparently had predicted it in September. He was still issuing specific predictions. He was like, "There will be an air disaster."
He's like, "You'll be pushed right over the edge."
Right over the edge.
They won't be able to resist.
But I think this is true. Like we said, of every astrologer, if you make thousands of claims, you're going to make a couple accurate ones, and then everybody will be like, he predicted this thing. And then he famously did not predict World War II. So, like, in, like, 1930, 1949, he was like, no trouble in Europe. Look to the Middle East. That's where things are going to be bad. And
then, he predicted it now. He just was a little off time,
Yeah, nobody was mad at him. They were fine with it. So then after him, now that's where, like, in that vein, I guess, of issuing an astrological prediction for a huge mass of people that everybody can read and enjoy, is where you get to like our modern day astrologers. And a point that's worth mentioning is it's called the Barnum Effect. That like is what psychics do. If you give someone a vague enough prediction, or a fortune teller or whoever, and this is like a scientifically known psychological thing, people will like think it's true, and they'll like come up with reasons about why it applies to their own life. Yeah, but okay, in a way though, that can like I would say now it's more like psychology, because like if you are so I think Walter Mercado, what he did, like I think he really like did no wrong, and I wouldn't think of him as like, I think what he was doing was real,
but in the way that he had an intuition for like people and their psychology. And I think he, instead of like looking to the stars, he kind of looked within the person. And, you know, we're all made of stardust. And so like really he was reading the stars that were in their heart.
Commenter Remnick over on Twitch is making the point that it's also known as a cold reading, and psychics do it. This sort of like vague, saying kind of vague enough stuff that somebody starts to associate it with their own life and then like clues you into like what's accurate or not. But I think you're right about Walter Mercado. And as we talked about in our magic episode, which people should check out, and like our witchcraft episode also, is that like, if, you know, thinking about magic is like a way of like orienting your psyche to like achieve something or have confidence, or the idea of like charm spells as a way of like focusing your intentions on a thing is actually very valuable for people.
Yeah, and I mean like the whole Queen Elizabeth thing, like maybe she was just like, she just felt like crap, and then like, yeah, John Dee was like, hang in there, like, you know, like, I mean, he just was like, hang in there, like, you know.
I think that's even different though, because, well, also, yeah, that's true. Walter Mercado very much believed in his predictions too, right? And so in some of these cases, it's not like a psychic who's, you know, treating someone like a mark. It's like having the practitioner also believe in the magical thing can make it more effective. Yeah. And we know the placebo effect is like,
well, and Walter Mercado, so as a boy, he grew up in Puerto Rico, right? And he healed this like bird, like a bird died, and he like healed it with.
This is our latest star in the cavalcade of astrology stars. And the last one, probably our favorite astrologer, is Walter Mercado.
Yeah, but he healed it, right? And like, I'm a healer as well. And like, a lot of it is psychology. And like, if someone feels injured, then like they're gonna be injured until they can stop feeling that way. And so like, we should
plug the Walter Mercado documentary.
Mucho, mucho, mucho amor. It's so good.
Yeah, he also was, himself was like a very lovely, like loving person, and it came across.
He wore like flashy.
And he wore gold. He dressed like Liberace.
He
had
did.
A great style.
He would always go mucho, mucho, mucho amor, and he'd go mwah.
And make crazy hand gestures.
And he had crazy rings. Yes.
So Anne of Chelsea, as a skeptic, makes the point on Twitch: just because you believe something, and it happens, doesn't make it a thing. But a point we would make is that in many cases with things involving humans, believing a thing actually is the thing.
The thing that makes it happen.
That makes it happen. So some would call it confidence, or in the case of pain, you could just call it the placebo effect. But, right, and then so much of even like, they've even shown, right, psychosomatic illnesses are a thing.
Yeah, and that's maybe how the Nostradamus like healed. He was able to heal mild plague cases, you know, because he was like...
Nostradamus may have just been like lucky, or maybe like...
Maybe they didn't have the plague, yeah.
Early practitioner of the scientific method, where he realized something actually did help plague victims and then kept doing it.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing. If it works, it works. And like a lot of famous,
provided you're not being grifted or paying lots of money for a thing that is not successful.
Well, then it's not working.
Yeah,
is not working.
Don't do like a Steve Jobs and die of a treatable illness because you're drinking juice. You
don't drink juice. Just don't drink juice in general.
If you read your horoscope, it makes you feel better. Read your horoscope.
Yeah, and like, so you and I like,
Speaking of which.
and like, which we will read. You and I like met in like a very like serendipitous way, I would say, and like it was a very like right place, right time kind of thing. And if someone had given us a psychic reading or whatever and like hinted at it, we'd be like, oh my god, they predicted like the greatest love of all time.
Okay.
You know, but like it the way that things happened were like in a very like sort of serendipitous, I would say, like coincidence with a sense of humor. Great movie with Sandra Bullock.
Okay, put that on your queue. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so should we talk about the signs, what they are?
Yeah. So now tell us the meaning of the signs, at least as far as the sun sign horoscopes.
Okay, so we start off with Aries, who's the ram, basically There was probably like Hercules tried to like kill him or something, and Zeus was like, "I'm sorry about that. You can go up in the heaven."
Oh, you're gonna bring in the Greek mythology too, where Zeus just throws a bunch of people into the stars.
And I'm legit like, yeah, I think that, or like maybe it was like the golden ram, or maybe it was the ram that Jason and the Argonauts, you know, the golden fleece. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we hate Jason though; he was mean to Medea. So, yeah, right. So we have Aries, the ram, that's like around. That's like a cute, like March-ish.
The personality.
Oh, the Aries
what's an Aries gonna be like?
An Aries is
high energy, right?
Is like it's a fire sign, right? And so they're like a ram. Like they're just like I'm gonna like ram. I'm gonna ram into everything.
So are most of the associated personality traits with the astrological sign is just kind of the personification of that animal or thing?
Yeah, pretty much. And actually, like the Chinese zodiac, they like super do that, like super like times a million.
Yeah.
Do that. They're like, you are this animal. Like, yeah. So we have Aries, and then we have.
So Taurus is the bull.
Taurus
is very comfortable. Right?
Yeah, Taurus I always think of as shout out to Anne.
Have nice houses generally.
Yeah, shout out to Anne, who is a Taurus. But sort of, Taurus is an earth sign. Mm-hmm. And I think of Ferdinand, who's like sitting under the tree, chilling, sort of like what is it, like a gourmand, or like someone who likes nice things, like Janis Joplin. I feel like, I don't know if she was a Taurus, but just like the fact that she liked to wear, like, she's like, I just want velvet clothes because they feel nice.
Okay.
Like that kind of thing. But if you pissed off like Ferdinand, he would freak on you. Okay. Rivero, Taurus, what's up? Yeah, like very chill.
It's a man who loves coffee. He likes nice things, taking nice photos.
Yeah. But if you piss him off, he'll be tall over you, and he'll be like, he'll be tall over you.
You get the horns.
He'll stand over you and be like, grr. Yeah, and then we have Gemini, the greatest sign of all time.
So Gemini is like both, right? It's everything.
It's everything, nothing. Gemini is an air sign.
They don't make up their minds.
The highest energy. Everyone says that Geminis are crazy and actually like the worst sign, or like they're like, oh my god, Gemini. It's the twins, Castor and Pollux. Mm-hmm. But their story of them is like really sweet. It's like one of them, right? I think this was the bear one. So like Zeus was like having sex with a bear, as he is wont to do. And his wife caught him, and the bear, he had to like send the bear up into the heavens.
He was having sex with a woman, but turned her into
a bear. And then
didn't Orion kill her?
Orion, or no, the son of the bear.
Okay.
Killed
the bear.
Killed the bear, and like Zeus was like, well, I'm gonna make both of you bears, like go up into the.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Oh wait, this is the bears.
This sounds like the Little and Big Dipper, which is like Ursa Minor and Major.
True.
Which I don't think is Gemini at all.
It's not. Castor and Pollux have a similar.
You don't know anything about.
They have a similar. They have. I just wanted to tell that story because I like.
I think I need. Yeah, Leo now.
No, Castor.
Move along.
You forgot about Cancer. Castor and Pollux, it was a similar story though. It was like one of them died, and Zeus and like the brother was like, my bro, I want to go be with him forever. And Zeus was like, okay, you're gonna die too. Up into the, you both be constellations.
All right.
Yeah.
So then Cancer's a crab.
He's a crab, hard on the outside, soft on the inside.
Like the physical characteristics of a crab.
Literally,
what about their emotions?
Delicious
they
too.
Have a shell.
You're allergic to them.
Okay.
My dad's a Cancer. Mm-hmm. Our friend Medea is a Cancer too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically like they're very like, they're like a little bit like an introvert, but once you like get through that, they're like just they're cute AF.
I love that just project these emotions, these like personality traits onto any person.
Yep.
Based on the month they were born.
Yeah, it's true though. Yeah. I mean, it took me forever to like break into my dad, but he's great now.
Yeah. So Leos are the center of attention.
The king of the jungle.
They tend to be performers. I think that's about it. And they're also a fire sign.
Yep. Oh yeah, Cancers are water, Gemini air, right? Okay, and then notice it starts over again with the whole like cycle. So after Leo, what is there?
I don't know. You know.
Virgo.
Okay.
The Virgin. The grain woman, Persephone, basically.
Okay.
Or no, not Persephone's mom.
Got it.
Yeah. Demeter, right? That's Virgo.
Okay. Harvest season.
The wheat lady.
Okay. Then what?
Let's see. Oh yeah. So Earth, and then Libra.
Oh, and I think Orpheus is around this time. I think
around the
Orpheus
fall?
was like fall, like late summer or whatever. So, Scorpion handler. It's the style.
Oh, because Scorpio's
Snake
coming
handler
soon.
Or something like that.
Scorpio's about to
Snake
happen.
handler. All right, continue.
Yeah. So Libra's
Continue with the sun
air is the scales.
Okay.
Hey Ian, what's up? We're talking about the horoscopes,
No,
astrology.
Yeah, astrology. Okay.
Yes, Ian is a Taurus.
Like the finer things.
Yep.
Often dressed in sensuous fabrics and ponchos.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Amazing.
Continue.
Yeah. So Libra scales, they're always looking for balance.
Okay.
Yep. But you can think of, so like Gemini is like double the energy. Libra is kind of like half, like they're always looking for their other half.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Libra, then we have Scorpio. The Scorpion, the water sign. They're like deep. They're like, I think of Scorpio as like still waters run deep. That's like how I think of them. You're a Scorpio, yes.
Scorpio. I know that the PD is a Scorpio.
Scorpio. Blaine is a Scorpio.
Okay.
Oh, Ian is a particular Taurus for May Day. The Bull of Flowers. Oh, we love that flower crown bull. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very Ferdinand.
Very Ferdinand. I love Ferdinand. Great book. You should also add that to your queue. Ferdinand.
Okay, we got a couple more.
Yep. So we have Scorpio. Then let's see. Oh God, I always get so confused around this time. What is it, like Sagittarius?
That sounds right.
Yeah. Scorpio's water.
I'm gonna proofread. I'm gonna fact check you. Continue.
Yeah, I think Sagittarius is next. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure
What are they
Sagittarius.
like?
They're the.
It's the sea ram.
No, that's Capricorn.
Oh.
Is Capricorn
What's
next?
a Sagittarius? What's a Sagittarius?
Sagittarius is like the satyr.
Okay. All right.
Ian says this is a Lady Gaga goes to the Mermaid Parade look, which is exactly what I was going for. Exactly. Yeah, Sagittarius is like the archer. The satyr, they're kind of like the teacher. And they're like the opposite, but like the the mirror of Gemini.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were right.
Yes!
Sagittarius was actually Scorpio. Nice.
Oh, all right.
Oh, it's an archer or centaur.
Yeah, I just said that.
Got it. Okay, now it's Capricorn.
Capricorn is the sea goat, the wet blanket.
Okay.
The wet blanket.
That's like end of the year. Yeah.
They love to travel.
It's like a New Year's.
They love to travel,
Year's.
but they hate fun.
Yeah.
And they're also horny.
Welcome to Earth sign. Okay, yeah, of course.
They're also horny. Yeah.
Okay, and then
The centaur.
Aquarius.
Aquarius, who's actually not a water sign, is an air sign. The water bear, the water divina, the water bearer. Yeah. Who Zeus is like, I think it's so funny because like the Aquarius is like Zeus's boy toy. Zeus is like water bearing, like he saw like a really hot, sexy boy and he's like, I have this old bitch who's like serving me water. You want to come do it instead? And like that's what Aquarius is. Yeah.
And then, so I'm pretty sure the whole like dawning of the age of Aquarius thing is from the signs being offset then by a month? So it used to be that Aquarius was on the new year, but no longer.
There are like ages of certain signs. There's
Okay.
like periods of like signs, basically. It's kind of like how the Chinese zodiac, you have like the year of the.
Okay. How do we pick
ox.
the sign period?
How do we pick the sign?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, so Ian says Aquarians are very loyal, but their personalities waver. They aren't steady, but not necessarily bad people. You just can't be positive what to expect, and they're very unpredictable.
Okay.
Ooh, true. Yeah, and I know that like they're one of my like really good friends, Maria, who's like moved to Spain, and I miss her very much. But she's an Aquarius, and like Aquarius and Gemini get along because we're like water signs. And I know that like their zone of the body is like the ankle or the and it's because they always like to turn on their heel. They're always like, huh.
The Aquarius.
Yeah.
Okay. They're huffy.
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally the Pisces.
The pieces.
Yeah, which is the fish.
The fish, but it's like the fish following its own tail.
Okay.
So it's like it's the sign of like undoing. They're also like a psychic sign because they've traveled the whole zodiac. They've seen like all the shit go down. Every Pisces that I know has like they have like blackout curtains. Legit, like every single one that I've met. And if I ask them, I'm like, do you have blackout curtains or like a very dark room? They're like, yeah, obviously.
So wasn't Pisces like the
Jesus' sign?
No, but that was the escaping fish or whatever, right? The fish that were escaping sunlight.
Oh yeah, it's Aphrodite and Eros or something. They were escaping, or it's Andromeda, like escaping the sea monster or something. Yeah, it's also Jesus.
Okay.
Two fish, the infinity sign. Yeah,
Okay.
like the yin
Cute.
yang.
All right. So, are you gonna do our horary charts?
Our natal chart. We don't have a
natal
horror.
charts.
Yeah,
Okay. Horary is about if you pick a date.
I was thinking of Olive to Party's like tagline where she's like putting the W in horror. It's like putting the W in horary. That would be like a psychic burlesque performer who's slutty. Okay. That would be like if we a horary prediction.
Are you gonna read the chart?
Yes, it would be like if we wanted to know the best day to like do question block.
Okay.
Then that would be like a horary. Okay. Well, I can give you your chart with the explanations, and we can just go back and forth and be like.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I agreed to do this episode.
Okay.
This is a pamphlet.
It's a packet. It is a freaking
There's a lot of
packet.
paper here. Really?
It's so from astroseek.com.
This is wild.
Yeah. It's from astroseek.com. And it's a great website because it like
Look at how tiny the font is on this thing.
yeah. It gives you like a cute like picture too. And it's like color coded.
So you can put this on a t-shirt.
This whole 5 pages, 10 pages, double-sided. So it's great because they actually analyze it for you. So a lot of websites that I looked into, they don't analyze it. They just tell you what your chart is. And but AstroSeek.
Ooh.
You the best. You the bomb.
My
you the bomb.
My sun is in the 12th house. Indicates a desire for perfection.
Okay, do you want to do like, we just go back and forth first house? So what's your
Okay.
first house?
Wait, where's the...
It's
Oh,
like
there.
right in the back,
Ascendant. Your first house is your physical personality?
Yeah.
Mine is ascendant in Virgo,
And what does that mean?
which is Mercury. The ruler is Mercury.
Yeah.
They develop the best through spiritual analysis.
Oh, that sounds very much like...
It sounds nothing like... Yeah, discernment and self-criticism.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
No, again, do I self-criticize? No, I do not.
Maybe you should.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe that's why I'm not developing my best.
Yeah. So my ascendant is in Sagittarius.
Okay.
One part of your nature heads up for noble goals, while the other part is controlled by earthly animal instincts. Rawr.
Does this thing tell you how they find out where the houses are?
Yeah, they just like do your whole planet thing. They know you have to enter your birth date and your time and everything.
And the house is from, like, some certain planet.
The house. So remember, the house theory is like from the Egyptian, and then the signs are from the Greek, and this is like the
house of Labeja.
the house of oh my god, drag queen horoscopes, can we please?
Yeah.
Your first house is in Labeja.
Yeah.
Your second house is in
Evangelist.
is an evangelista. I don't know. Okay.
Davenport. The House of Davenport.
The House of Davenport.
Okay.
Okay, so
There's just a lot of predictions in this thing.
do you want to say what your planets are in? So what's obviously your sun is in Leo.
Yeah.
Okay. And
the sun is yourself, apparently.
Yes.
Individuality and personality. Whereas your moon is your emotions, instincts, roots, and your mother.
The mother. So what's your...
Wait, tell us about Anne. What is your moon?
My moon is in Scorpio.
Okay.
Yeah, and it creates the need to delve into your feelings as deep as possible, and this brings great vulnerability. You never forget anything that was done to you.
You can't
True.
You can hold a grudge, honey.
True, Dad. It's hard to force you to do anything. Ooh!
Also true.
I'm pointing to my nose right now, which is very contoured.
Yeah.
Tell me about your moon.
Looking like a moon.
Looking like a moon. Looking like a crescent
Like
moon.
a crescent moon.
Tell me about your moon.
Oh, my moon is you feel safe in moments. Oh, because it's Leo. You feel safe in moments when you can impress others and get praise and admiration.
Oh my God, that's true.
You probably have a desire for money.
Yes. I think this moon is on to something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's just go through.
They're easily influenced and react to subtle influence of the environment. Kind and warm-hearted. May work for a charity, hospital, or other large institution that serves for the good of others.
Oh, Secret Loft.
Or Bloomberg LP.
True. Oh my gosh.
They are not able to express themselves well.
Yes. Oh my
Their
God.
emotions are often confused. Rude.
So
I'm a musician
true.
and writer and poet.
It's like they knew you.
The moon in the 12th house emphasizes these people will feel secure only when they distance themselves from others.
So my moon is in the 11th house, and that means the willingness to work in a modest way in a group of workmates with the aim to achieve goals that can benefit all, which I would say that's false.
It's kind of the opposite.
That is like the exact opposite
yeah,
of
you
me.
really like to work in a modest way with a group.
Yeah, it's like maybe the reverse of
Team
that.
partner.
Um,
Can we pull up the app and then...
there's no app.
I thought this was from an app.
No, it's a website.
Can we pull up the website?
Yeah, pull up the website.
I feel at this point we maybe are... The educational portion of the podcast may
naturally
be winding down.
respond to the
and
feelings
this is
of
where-
others, and I know how to affect the views of other people, especially the views of the public. Okay, so that's true. The interests of these people are so broad and far-reaching that they have to be careful not to be shallow. True. Their sense of security depends on their personal relationships and large number of friends. Okay, true and false.
No, not true. Yeah.
My relationships, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
So-
small circle. Yeah, I figure we'll take a guest if anyone's around.
Yeah, if
And
anyone-
we can pull up their sign and then read it to them.
I mean, you have to enter.
But they can tell us their birthday. And we'll
Yeah.
punch it into the.
You do have to
The
tell us the
astrology
year, though.
machine.
So if you don't want to do that,
You know what I do?
I mean, you could lie. What? So yeah, if anyone wants us to do their charts, you can
do a
go
chart.
live with us.
Yeah.
Or you can just type in the comments if you want. If you're not like,
Oh, true.
Live
We
ready.
could just do it on the comments. Yeah.
yeah, we need your birth date, your birth city, and your
social
birth
security
time.
number, last
Your
4
bank
digits of
account.
your credit card. Yeah.
Yeah, your Apple Pay, your fingerprint.
Oh, while we're waiting for one of those, do tell us about we skipped over Miss Cleo.
Oh yeah, Miss
So,
Cleo.
So you had the tea on.
Yeah,
Miss
so Miss
Cleo.
Cleo, I remember Miss Cleo from like a Captain Crunch commercial.
Oh, it's
Oh, okay,
Remnick.
Remnick. Yes,
All right,
okay.
We'll come back to
I'm
Miss
gonna pull
Cleo.
up-
That's a cliffhanger.
Dun dun dun. Yes. Okay. So Remnick, amazing DJ and artiste, is going live with us.
He's in DJ and
There he goes.
Hello.
Hey,
How are you doing?
we're great. Oh wait, you're doing great too. We're predicting.
I guess we'll find out. Hold on one second.
Okay, I'm pulling up this website here.
Okay.
You continue.
What's the website
talking.
so people can follow along?
Astroseek.com.
Astroseek. Okay. So
Yeah,
you're
you guys talk while I pull this up. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
No,
All right.
you
Alex.
and Remnique talk while I
Yeah.
pull it up.
Hello. What's going on?
What are you up to? Talking about stars?
Yeah, we're talking about astrology here. It's a pseudoscience, but it's also a science.
You sound like you're being dragged along a little bit for this.
It was his idea, actually.
I think it's
Really?
pretty fun the way that like
Yeah.
numerology and other.
I kind of like. I used to think it was very dumb, and I still think it's like obviously inaccurate. But I think there's something interesting about using a different framework to kind of make sense of the world, if that makes sense.
I have this pulled up. So what is your date of birth?
It is dating myself here. July 15th, 1990.
Oh my gosh, happy almost birthday.
Yeah, I guess it's next week,
Look
right?
yeah, it's coming
Uh-huh.
up.
Yeah,
Look
I'll
at
be
that.
31.
Yes. Okay, and do you know the time?
I do. It was 4:44 a.m.
Ooh, I thought you were gonna say 4:20. I was like,
Nice.
ooh, okay.
That's like
I-
the Jay-Z album.
It's true, yeah. And what city? What city?
Oh, New York.
Okay. You have to check. You have to check.
Time zone.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, because they need to know.
Because they're doing like the
so.
coordinates. They're going.
and the moon too.
And the moon. Although it's hard in New York because the lights, Oh, ooh, your chart has a cool triangle on it. Oh my God. I'll send this to you, by the way, after. Yeah, it has like a cool triangle. Ours, look at that red triangle. Look at that. Oh my God. The next Messiah right here, people. I'm trying to show it to the Twitch. Look at that sexy triangle. Okay. So.
Well, that was earlier in the podcast you said Kepler's theory was that Jesus had a perfect star chart.
That every planet was like every sign was in the house of the planet that governed, like, because Mercury,
So
like,
his would have just looked like a nice little like
Is this based on
dodecahedron.
Christmas, or is this based on like whenever in July he was actually born?
it's August. August. It was someone who was born in August
Of the year 7.
of the year 7 would have had this perfect. Kepler was just trying to like.
He was winning brownie
know.
points with the church.
Yeah, he was
Probably,
like,
but-
Jesus had a beautiful, he's like, I've seen his chart. It's
He was
beautiful.
doing that youth pastor thing where he's like, who had a perfect star chart?
Yeah.
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 Or he was like,
Christ.
Yeah. He's like, Jesus
Right.
Christ. I said Jesus when I saw his chart.
or he's like, here's a model of the solar system. Please don't excommunicate me. And-
Yeah. He put them both together. He
imprison me.
slid them across the table. He was like,
Don't worry about it.
This and this.
yeah, he did a heavy handshake with the star chart. Okay, so
All right.
your ascendant is in Cancer, which your ascendant is in Cancer, and Cancer rules the moon. So with Cancer ascendant, you need to develop and refine your emotional life. Some people are so emotionally vulnerable, they form a shell around them to protect their soul. Damn! The challenge is to find a way to use your sensitivity in order to ensure that you are not overburdened by it. Cancer ascendant can be very surprised how many emotions are hidden underneath their calm and cool appearance. You should learn to live in accordance with your internal organic rhythms and currents. And then
Yes.
it says that the ruler of the ascendant is the moon. These people like to change the place where they live. They use their imagination. They succumb to their dreams, moods, and the public. They change their behavior according to the situation and identify themselves with their surroundings.
Alex does look very cool right now. But there's
Yes.
probably a bubbling
But I've
inner
lived in
turmoil.
one place my whole life, like one city at least.
Oh, so it says like, so for example, planets describe the certain process of what is happening. For example, like Mars is the fighting planet, Saturn is the limiting planet. Jupiter is the expanding planet. So like whatever signs
Expanding planet.
No, so like whatever signs are in that house, like whatever's in your Mars house is like how you like to fight. Whatever's in your Venus house is like how you like to love.
Ooh, I like to fight.
Let me tell you that.
Take me to the
Tell me
Mars
about my
house.
So
fights.
you're I would assume not at all because your Mars is in Taurus. So I'm assuming that you have to be very based upon that. I'm not even looking at this right now. This is off the books. Based upon that, I'm assuming that means that
It's
you
off the rails.
you need to be provoked to fight. Let's see what it says.
I would hope that most people need to be provoked to fight.
Damn, I got it right. Okay, I am so good. I'm the next Walter Mercado. I'm not at all.
No, but
okay.
Leo and Mars could be like, you fight to get attention.
People with Mars and Taurus don't like to waste time daydreaming. In other words, when they make plans, they're realistic and they'll accomplish what they plan. They proceed steadily with their material goals in life, and they use their patience and realistic approach to increase the value of their property or to secure a quiet place to live. They like stability, and they know that the secret lies in the fact that they themselves determine what stability they need instead of blindly accepting the materialistic idea of society.
Ooh.
Yes.
I think I reflect some of that.
Some of that certainly.
So,
applies.
so the that's what the planets are. The sign.
Oh, what's the sun? Can we hear?
And the houses are the special areas of everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, like Mars manifests in relationships in the 7th house. Employment is the 6th house. So planets show us what is happening. Signs show us how it's happening, and houses show us where it's happening. Just this, so if you, let's see.
Right, Alex's sun sign is the personality primary one. That's what I care about.
Oh, well, we know his sun sign.
But what is it? What is sun in Cancer?
The sun in Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon, which gives people born under the sign of emotional sensitivity. They're reserved and shy. Their reasoning, thinking, and behavior are very dependent on their mood, and this is the reason they like to depend on people with strong personalities and choose partners that they can lean on. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But I want to know, like,
Are there any predictions?
Yeah, so
come
it
up
does.
with?
It does say, like, it does tell you, like, interesting things at the end. I think. What?
Oh, Alex has a filter on. And he is
Oh my God, he's a watermelon!
Wow.
Oh my gosh, I didn't see that in the cards.
We could have been watermelons this entire time.
Yeah,
We could
that's
have been watermelons.
so there's also in oh my God, and now he's a cheese. He's just all triangle things. So I want to know what this like.
I'm just gonna keep.
What is the square thing? Oh, the trine. So there's that's like what that big ass triangle
That's
in your chart
various
is.
shapes on the chart. Okay.
Yeah. So when you have, if there's like basically if there's a triangle, I think that's like a good thing. It means that like they're like harmonious, and if there's a square, that's like things are gonna be rough.
Square
it's a
is
rough
bad.
Square is bad.
Okay.
But you have a big ass triangle, which I think is very cool. Yeah, I'll send this chart to you.
There's lunar nodes in there.
Yeah, there's
a
like
lot going
nodes.
on.
There's it really like explains what's going on, which I love. Yeah, I love like it really breaks it down, but it might be boring for people who don't have. Do you have any other like question? I can tell you about Venus, which I think is this is how you love. It's your sensuality, love, harmony, and pleasure.
Yeah.
So your Venus is in Gemini. Gemini is the sign of youth.
Don't tell me where to put my Venus.
They hate to say, oh my God, what does it say? They hate to see a girl boss winning. This is amazing. Oh my gosh, it's incredible.
Is it important to know that my wife is Gemini? Does that add to the coolness of this.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
That's very cool. Yeah. I think so honestly, I think you would have to know what her Venus is to like really, in terms of natal charts, you'd have to like look at what her Venus is, and like that would be, you can also do a chart for both of you. Like this website will also like, you could put both your birth dates in, and it's called your synchronicity or something, and it like does the birth chart for both of you.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Ola Alex Rivero.
Oh. Hi, Alex. There's a lot of Alexes right now.
Taurus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taurus.
I gotta out, guys, but this was fun.
I'll text you your chart, by the way, so you can see the full tea.
I'll see you soon.
Okay.
See you soon.
Thanks for tuning in. Bye. Is he gonna remove?
We've
Will
learned
he
a lot.
remove himself? Let's see what our Veni. Show me Venus.
Okay.
Your Venus. Okay, what's your Venus in? We gotta like flip through this so much. Woo. Okay.
Flip through my dossier.
Yes, your dossier. Ooh, my Venus is in Gemini, which is like...
So Venus symbolizes attractivity. Sign in which Venus is tells us what we are attracted to, and this enables us to give or receive love and affection.
Okay, your Venus is in Virgo.
The negative side is that it represents weakness and shallowness.
Wait, what does that mean?
My Venus is in Virgo. Can signal difficulties because love and beauty cannot coexist with analysis. So one of the suppressed.
Oh my god, this is so spot on. I'm sorry for
The
screaming.
result of analyzing love and art is the realization that one must accept secrets and stop analyzing them. These people have a very gentle and rare sense of distinction. I don't know what a gentle and rare sense of distinction is. If people with Venus in Virgo decide to prefer inspiration over technology, they can become unbeatable in appreciating, expressing, and maintaining the wonderful fragility of love and beauty.
I'm gagged. I have rolled off this couch and down the
their
street.
refined taste for social, emotional, artistic values during their systematic routine of searching for defects and removing them. As far as love and relationship are concerned, they undergo a process of purification, which removes unclean thoughts, feelings, and values. Not really sure what's going on there. Because of this, they can become temporarily or permanently old bachelors or spinsters.
I'm dead right now. I'm literally dead.
The process of purification? What are you talking about?
Oh my god, this is so, it's like, because before you met me, you were like, because I am perfect, so like, it's fine. But before you met me,
one more point.
Yeah.
I also have a Venus in the second house.
You have a penis in the second house? What does that mean?
Venus in the second house represents a connection with security and material wealth. These people love their property, jewelry, clothes, and accessories. Yeah. Cool.
For the listeners, he's wearing gold. All gold. Everything.
A gold Leo ring.
Okay. So my Venus, my penis is in Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought your penis
Oh,
was
his
in
Venus
Gemini.
was in Gemini. Alex's.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
Gemini is a sign of youth, and these people have a strong urge to prevent stagnation and maintain flexibility in their relationships. They believe that a relationship without freedom is deemed to fail. Venus in Gemini can be compared with love bud rather than love in full bloom, so it must be given the opportunity to bloom. They like diversity, and they have a spark that is here to illuminate their love and their beloved partner. People with Venus in Gemini typically make friends and acquaintances easily. They like to meet people. Sexual and family relationships are their heart, but diverse social relationships are their lungs, and they breathe life into their being. Venus in this, my Venus is in the 7th house.
Okay.
Social people and who are harmonious and friendly. Marriage and friends play an important role in their success. Marriage usually brings wealth.
Oh.
Snaps to that.
Marrying into money, I see.
Yes, because I'm very poor on paper. Mm-hmm. If you're listening, the government, I make nothing. I'm winking.
So you're hiding all your podcast income.
Yep. This position is favorable for jobs that require dealing with the public, such as psychology, sales, advertising, and so on, which is very true. Yeah.
All right. I think we've learned a lot about ourselves.
I must say, like Jesus, I have a lot of signs in their like respective houses. Like I have a lot actually.
Can I see your chart?
Yeah.
See, mine has just a fat kind of square and then some like lines on the side. It's not looking too good. Do you have nice?
You know what? Because I had these other. Yeah, I can show you. I'm like rifling through.
Me the chart. There it is. Oh, that's looking all right. Yeah, they come.
Oh, because I had these other charts that didn't interpret anything except they did say a few things. They're like the same chart because
Okay. Well,
but no, but it said Mercury. My Mercury's in Gemini. My Saturn in Capricorn. Pluto.
you have more paperwork for this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. Well, these were
You have another pamphlet.
these were the old charts, right? And so like. So they didn't interpret it, but they said little facts, and they said that my Mercury and Gemini, Saturn and Capricorn, Pluto and Scorpio are the signs of their rulership. That's like what Jesus's chart was too.
Wait, okay. Bullshit.
It said that my when I was born, the moon was a waxing gibbous moon, which is why I like monkeys so much.
Forgiven.
The air element is dominant among the inner planets.
Well, your sun.
Many of my planets are in retrograde when I was born.
I did read. Oh, we should talk about retrograde real quick before you go. That is worth noting. Retrograde, and then also, I did read the inner planets, which is like Jupiter inward, are like the core of your being, whereas the outer planets are more like seasonal shifting things and external factors in your life. And then the moon tends to be associated with like daily occurrences.
Oh, it says your modes are evenly distributed among the inner planets.
Okay.
And many planets of yours are in retrograde too.
So what does it mean for a planet to be in retrograde?
It means it looks like it's traveling backwards, like it's moonwalking.
Because you constantly hear about Mercury in retrograde.
Yeah.
Everyone's
So it's
like, I like killed several people, but like Mercury was in retrograde and it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, that's exactly how it be like.
So, as we said earlier when describing the solar system and the sun in the middle and the Earth moving, and then your signs being all these other planets. So, since the Earth is rotating around the sun and the other planets are rotating at different speeds and sometimes are totally on the opposite side of the sun, sometimes as the Earth is moving, it actually looks like a planet is moving backwards relative to Earth.
Yeah, I just said it's moonwalking.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I'm going to moonwalk out of here.
But there's a unique historical church aspect too, because the Catholic Church would not let the astronomers present a heliocentric universe. So to explain the motions of the planets, there were all these alternative worse systems that they had to keep proposing that they knew weren't elegant. And that really upset the astronomers and astrologers because they were like, it's a solar system. It should be harmonious. There should be like a beautiful order to it. And we have to keep making these very crappy systems to describe how the planets move.
They got to stay alive.
Yeah.
Some of them.
So retrograde is the concept of, they said that, well, Earth is the center of the universe and all the planets move in circles, but that didn't match up with what they observed. So they had to come up with the concept of epicycles. So like, well, maybe they also move in circles that rotate backwards while they're in a larger circle moving forward. And then you needed sub-epicycles of like epicycles and epicycles. Can you imagine the amount of geometry and calculus these guys were
Almost as much as you do.
Yeah. And this was pre-calculators. They were very good with the slide rule.
That would have killed, like, I would have just been like, I'm dead. I would have been the Catholic Church. I would be like, no math.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we talked about him earlier, but Kepler.
So retrograde, it happens, you said it happens all the time. Like 4 times a year it happens.
Yeah, it happens quite a lot because, again, it's just the apparent motion of other planets. And Mercury is so much closer into the sun, it has a faster orbit. So routinely, as the Earth is moving, it looks like Mercury is swinging the other direction.
Yeah.
As it's going sort of on the opposite side of the sun, it's swinging around behind it.
But Mercury is mercurial, and so that's what it be like. I would know because my Gemini's ruling planet is Mercury.
So
shout out to Peter Mercury, another Gemini.
But interesting take home from all of this stuff or whatever, right, is that astrology and the whole system depends not just on the fixed motion of all the planets compared to the sun when you were born. It's based on line of sight observations of where other things are. So it's very much dependent on the observer, which is also why the time of day matters, because you're on a planet that's spinning around. So that also affects where things are.
Yes, the time that you were born.
They has its own mini satellite.
They will do it if you don't know, though. That's like the thing. If you don't know the exact time,
they'll give you the closest.
Yeah, they'll do like an average.
Position. Yeah.
They'll do a little average situation for you. Miss Cleo, should we?
Oh yeah, and let's wrap up with the hilarious tale of Miss Cleo.
Oh yeah, so Miss Cleo, I know her from like I think it was like a Captain Crunch commercial where she was like,
why was she in a cereal commercial?
Well, because she's an actor. She went to acting school. She's from the US. A lot of people know her as like the Jamaican.
Yeah, did you see the late night commercials?
I'm too young to have seen those. It. Yeah.
Would you like me to describe them to you?
That's why I know her from Captain Crunch, and but I obviously it's been like memed, so I do know of the commercial. I know of them, but I didn't see them in real time.
So these were commercials if you're my age and when you were in like when you were like 12 or 14 or whatever, and you were staying up late, like your friends were over, and like Saturday Night Live would end, and then like local television and even cable at that time was just sort of a graveyard of programming. Like old episodes of MASH would play. They just had no idea what to put on the air. They would just replay the news, and then in between, because it's so cheap to buy commercial airtime, then there are all these amazing infomercials, including Miss Cleo, which was like a Psychic Friends Network hotline service.
One here.
But the character played by Miss Cleo is unforgettable because she's sort of like a...
Here, I have it right here.
This insistent Jamaican woman who really wants to help you.
Want to know? Okay, I was wondering who the father of my baby was.
Ah!
Right, let's take a look. The Miss Cleo DNA test. I'm solely searching for the...
So she uses cards, though. She's actually doing tarot.
Oh, oopsies, I fast forwarded and then I zoomed in.
But you get the idea.
Yeah. She's like the Miss Cleo DNA test.
But it's kind of a Jamaican tarot thing. She's like burning incense.
Hello, darlings. This is Miss Cleo coming to you live from our studio.
Oh, this was like a Saturday Night Live one.
Taking pause.
Okay. Oh, that was Mad TV. Sorry.
Okay.
You get the idea.
So that's the character. So what you found out is that the backstory was this was actually run by some terrible corporation.
Yeah, the Psychic Friends Network, which you should know better. God damn it, you should know better.
She was just a spokeswoman for.
She was, and apparently you would like never actually get through to Miss Cleo. Like no one knows if anyone has actually spoken to Miss Cleo, like for real, because when you would, she did these advertisements for it. But they were a 900 number, not an 800 number. So 900 number, you start paying like immediately. Like even as the phone is like ringing, you're paying.
Yes, 900 numbers are famous for their aggressive pricing strategy. And as you said, the dispute process, when a 900 number overcharges your credit card or whatever else or has hidden charges, is that you have to call the 900 number and get charged as you argue with them.
Yes. And so... that's what the Psychic Friends Network was, and they would just like keep you on the line as long as like there were a bunch of actors. They really loved drag queens too. If you were a drag queen, they would like definitely give you a job. I guess their voices like translated well to psychic because they are.
But to be fair, Miss Cleo is advertising tarot readings there, which is a whole different thing,
that's not even
sight.
I guess they wanted you to think. They were like, all right, here's a deck of playing cards, shuffle it into the phone.
Well, as we played at the beginning of the episode, Walter Mercado also had a tie-in with he wasn't Psychic Friends Network. It was a very similar sounding one though.
Oh yeah, and he got his like identity got taken.
Yeah, so he claimed that
It's true though.
Okay, it was out of his hands, and his manager did it. And
Well, he signed a contract because he's so nice.
Or he believed that they were actually training the psychics to do astrology readings, and he believed in astrology, and that it was like a legit thing. But it turned out they were just hiring drag queens who had good voices on the phone who weren't doing the astrological readings. But yeah, depends what you want to argue.
But I think it's funny because she said that she's an actor and she had like a play, and she I think it was like in Chicago or something, and everyone that she hired for the play, she told them that if they invested in like the play, which is weird, like the actors had to invest in the play, and the play was like about her.
That's not really how plays are supposed to work.
But she's like, I promise I'll pay you back when the play makes money. And then like she didn't pay them back, and she had to like flee town. And she wanted a dramatized like version of her life. So she was just from America, but she made the character in the play be from Jamaica. And I guess because her parents were from Jamaica, so she made it like Jamaican immigrant story.
Her full name, by the way, is Yuri Del Harris.
That's a dope name. I would have gone with that. And then
Yuri Harris.
When she went to the Psychic Friends Network because she was an actor looking for work, they were like, we love this Jamaican character, like please do that. And she originally wanted to do like she's like, can I do voodoo? Because like I know how to do it or whatever. And they were like, no. They were like, people won't like that. Yeah. But then, the psychic, was it the psychic readers or was it the psychic friends? Because one of them, they had to like...
I'm pulling up some notes, but it is funny that I forgot about this. The play you're mentioning where she like stiffed the other actors, which like led her to like fleeing to New York and getting the job as Miss Cleo. She told, the cast of her productions were never paid, and she told her cast members she had bone cancer, which is in quotes.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy? She ended up dying of cancer. Like when she did die, she died in 2016 of like a cancer, very quick cancer.
I wonder if it was bone cancer.
No, it was like uterine. It was like uterine cancer, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that eventually the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, cracked down on the two guys who actually ran the company, Stephen Fetter and Peter Stotts. Basically for like, there's nothing wrong with running a telemarketing scheme. You just can't like then defraud the people in the telemarketing scheme. You can like, if you provide them with real psychic advice and charge the money for it, that's one thing. But they were like purposely inflating bills and committing fraud.
Yeah, and they also sometimes they wouldn't pay the employees. Like the pay structure was very like complicated too on that end. But they definitely paid Miss Cleo.
So there were a number of lawsuits, although a later report from Consumer Affairs said that many customers were satisfied with the service.
Well, that's the other thing, because Miss Cleo then wrote like a tell-all book, and she said that there were like, she claims to have spoken to people, even though we don't know if that's actually true. And she said that that most of the people were like older and they just wanted someone to talk to.
Oh yeah, and she was in
a Captain Crunch commercial.
French Toast Crunch.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
And the Psychic Readers Network intervened on the basis that they owned the character of Miss Cleo.
We own everything.
I guess so. Yeah. So there you go. French Toast Crunch.
Yeah. Well, she's like, it's delicious. She like is over the bowl, and she's like, I predict this is gonna be delicious. So she was doing
like a caricature of her character.
Yeah, because she's like a hustler, you know. But yeah, Walter Mercado, much better person and like awesomer, and like you should read it. Yeah, watch it, read it, watch it.
Astrology instead of cards. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. I suppose that answers every question that all of our viewers had about astrology.
Yes.
So we're happy to.
If you have any more, you can call us at 900.
Happy to teach you all yet again.
Yeah. So we will.
Oh, let's plug.
There's comedy at Secret Loft on Friday with pizza, and then if you want to go after the comedy to see me at the Slipper Room late night, you can have a double feature. I predict it will be a great night. Mm-hmm. And then also, we'll be back next week talking about something.
next week we'll have a new question block topic for you. And then next weekend, we're going to have a party at Secret Loft.
Yes!
Secret Loft.
All stars. Get
Much
it?
like our background.
It does.
all stars.
It's the best of the best.
But yeah, it's our most of our regular DJs, our like best aerialists, our best lighting directors all together doing one show together.
For you, and you're the best if you come. So you'll also be an all-star.
So get tickets. There's links.
There's links.
on our Instagram, Secret Loft NYC.
There's links. The stars will find you with the links if you need
So
them.
I'm gonna have Walter Mercado play us out. For those who
Okay.
didn't hear the intro, they can hear Walter Mercado again.
Have questions? Need
I do.
answers?
I do.
Concerned about a loved one? Need career or love advice?
Yeah.
I love the music.
Hi, I am Walter Mercado. Thanks for making the Psychic Friends Network.
Oh, and he was
most
Psychic
popular
Friends Network
psychic
also.
phone service in the entire world. All new, all improved, all knowing. That's right.
All improved,
The legend
all
is
knowing.
back. Anytime, anywhere. You can
Anytime,
connect with the
anywhere.
Psychic Friends Network. Take out your cell phone and text the word future to 22428. You will be connected instantly to your
It's funny because he's like, call us anytime, anywhere.
Get the best
But text the
psychic
word
now at
future.
the best prices.
to this.
I
like,
like
well,
that.
People just like you have turned to the Psychic Friends Network for answers and advice. Get help finding
It's a good
the
beat,
love, money, or career
Yeah, it's
you
sexy.
deserve. Text the word
It's helping my love
I
life.
think they were
Laura.
just like, what's the most Puerto Rican thing we can play?
Yep, and then that's what they should have played.
Alright. Thank you for joining us. Good night, everybody.